Marreta, number 5 ranked THIAGO Santos, is a minus 170 favorite, man, against the plus 145 number 10 ranked Johnny Walker in the light heavyweight division, AJ. Let's talk about the odds first. Would you agree? Minus 170 for Santos, plus 145 for Johnny Walker. What do you think about that?
I think they should be a little bit closer, man. I don't really know. I mean, Santos is coming off the 2 losses, and then he did look, or the 3 losses. Excuse me, I forgot the John Jones L. But he's an absolute marauder. You just look at the man, you think, yeah, this dude can win any fight you put him up against. And Johnny Walker, as much shenanigans as he had in the beginning of his career, he's really started to tone it down. And we were talking last week about the Ryan Spann fight, where it kind of just happened, like the KO kind of just happened. I was watching the fight again, man, and when Ryan Spann was shooting those takedowns, it started off with hammer fist, and then it kind of rolled again, and then when he shot down for a takedown, that's when he hit him with the elbow.
Elbows.
I don't think it was as sporadic as we were leading on. I think it was a little bit more, he saw his opening, he saw that ear, and he went and took his shots. I'm a little surprised at the 170 to 145. I definitely think once the fight starts getting a little bit closer and things start, kind of everyone's mind starts leveling out, they'll get a little bit closer on this one. What do you think?
Well, I kind of agree. I think Santos should be the favorite in this fight just because of the wild man that is Johnny Walker. Like, he's a wild man, bro. And that's part of, like, that's what wins him fights, but that's what loses him fights as well, is because you watch him. Technical, that's not in the category of Johnny Walker, right? He's just wild, crazy, and he'll throw a head kick and then bring a spinning back fist right off the top. And he's caught opponents doing stuff like that, man. He throws crazy knees, right? He does the worm after the fight and dislocates his shoulder and then has to, be out for some time, man. I just think Johnny Walker, like, the advantage of being unpredictable and being like, I'm gonna hit you with some crazy shit, also leaves him so out of position, man. I'm talking about hands are like down, head just out, and it's like, how have you not been knocked out a million times? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But if we're talking about his resume, man, 18-5 in MMA, 4-2 in the UFC, 15 knockouts, 2 submissions, 1 decision. Now for Marreta, for THIAGO Santos, 15 KOs as well, right there, man. 1 submission, 5 decisions, 21-9 in his MMA career, 13-8 in his UFC career, and those 3 losses, AJ, 1 against the greatest light heavyweight who's ever done it in John Jones, which was a split decision loss, which a lot of people thought Santos won the fight. He got submitted by Glover Teixeira, which was a very close fight until Teixeira, started working him. And then you lose a fight to Alexander Rakic, who is arguably one of the best kickboxers in the light heavyweight division. So I think there's nothing to hang your hat on, because who did he get the win over, AJ? The current light heavyweight champion. He knocked him out, actually, right in the 3rd round. So there's something very telling about that. And Jimmy Manuwa, man, knocked him out. Blast from the past, Jimmy Manuwa. Shout out to him, man. But that goes to show just kind of how inactive Santos has been over the years. And also, I mean, John Jones is when he tore up one of his knees completely and then had like a partial ACL tear in the other knee. And he also had like a kind of a broken tibia in one of the legs. So he's lost both fights since then. This will be his 3rd fight back since those surgeries, AJ. I want to ask you, do you think now maybe he can start to find his groove? It's kind of tough, man. Double knee surgery. It's going to take a couple fights before you get back to your old self if you ever return there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think if there's ever a time, it has to be now, especially with the dude that's not as technically or fundamentally strong like Johnny Walker isn't. He's giving you the option to be able to fight your fight on this one, and why I think Santos has a good shot going forward on this one, man. Johnny Walker, he's in the same class of fighter as Michel Pereira too. Very, very entertaining, very wild, and that's what leaves the door open for Santos to really get a dub on this one. Santos, he's very dangerous, even though, like I said, he's on those 3 L streaks, and it is time for him to finally come back and get this one, man, going. What do you think?
I agree, man. I think Santos is those fundamentals, that being a little more poised, being a little more technical. Santos is a wild man too, don't get me wrong. But if he can just exploit those openings on Johnny Walker, man, just hit him with the big overhand right, hit him with the big head kick, it's going to be a very early night, man, for both of these fighters. Now, imagine, bro, this fight taking place in Brazil. These are 2 Brazilians. This should be headlining a Brazil card. Am I right?
Oh yeah, man, that would be crazy too. Although I feel like they don't like to do 2 Brazilians against each other. Usually they throw a Brazilian against an American, and then the Brazilian crowds go crazy, start throwing stuff at the octagon, all that. But either way, you get both these fighters with their huge fan base in Brazil. It'd be a huge fight.
What does it mean to you, AJ, that Johnny Walker is a specimen of a human being? 6'5", 82-inch reach. I mean, longest damn reach in the UFC, damn near. I think there's maybe only one fighter who has a longer reach than him. Do you think Santos is going to have any problems? Because he's a big man too, man. 6'2" with a 76-inch reach. Do you think that's going to give him some issues?
I don't think so. I feel like as much as, or yeah, it'll definitely give him some issues, especially that long reach. But I feel like Santos has this way of nullifying the reach with pressure.
True.
If you are hitting him, you're hitting him like not all the way on the full strike. You're actually hitting him like midway, 3/4 of the way. So he's able just to walk through it. And we saw if you're able to walk through a torn ACL and a torn and a partially torn other ACL, you got 2 knee injuries and a broken tibia. You're able to walk through John Jones's strikes, man. You can walk through a lot of things.
Let's talk about mental fortitude, man. THIAGO Santos is a former paratrooper. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude is like, I'm leaving it all. Like, I'm ready to die today for my job, And so being in the UFC, I just think that it's been tough outing for Team Marreta as of recently, man. Yana Kunitskaya dropped her last one. He's dropped 3 in a row. Kunitskaya is about to have a baby, so she's going to be inactive. So now he's got to really show up and do something, right? Because both of them are fighters. Somebody's got to bring in that cash money. What it comes down to for me, AJ, is that I think that Santos has one element that Walker is very vulnerable to, and that's the wrestling, man. Santos could wrestle. And Johnny Walker, we saw him against Nikita Krylov, man. What's the number one way to get rid of that power or to tire him out and then start working him in the later rounds? Wrestling him out, man. Get that lactic acid build up in the arms and legs of Johnny Walker. Do you think Santos will be able to get that done against Walker, be able to just get him up against the cage and just drop him down, get that top control? What do you think?
Yep, that's exactly how I see this fight going. If you're Santos, man, look to control the octagon, apply that pressure all day, get Walker to the edge of the cage, get into the side of the octagon, really shoot that blast double, get the takedown, just really start working that lactic acid, like you said. I mean, on paper, that's what seems smart for Santos.
Sure.
It's just, can you get it done in the octagon, not necessarily on paper?
Well, would you argue that Santos shouldn't just stand up and try to have like a kickboxing match with Johnny Walker? You think that would be a bad idea?
I mean, Santos is an amazing striker, so I don't think it's a bad idea for him to do that.
No.
I just think Johnny Walker's so unpredictable that's where the instability lies. That's where, like, all right, do we want to place a big gamble, or do we want to go more clowning on Brunson? Do we want to go the Derek Brunson route and really go the safe route and get a takedown and get a dub, man? You need that payday.
He needs the win, so I think that's definitely going to be an option of his. It might be the approach of, well, let's wrestle early and then kickbox as the fight goes on. I mean, this is a 5-round fight, man, so you got a lot of time to work with on this one. And we know Santos, he did it against John Jones. I don't know if his fight against Teixeira was 3 rounds or 5 rounds, but he can do 5 rounds. Against Rakic, I think that was only 3 rounds too. So, listen, there's just much to be desired for me for Johnny Walker and his defense, man. He has very little defense. His offense is his defense, pretty much. You know what I mean? Like, he'll say, like, fuck the defense, I'll just knock you out instead. How about that? Both of these dudes, 15 knockouts, we already talked about. But let's talk about, once again, AJ, we got to do it. Notable wins right here. For THIAGO Santos, he has wins over Jan Blachowicz, Nate Marquardt, Kevin Holland, Eric Anders, the Lionheart, Anthony Smith, and every single one of those fighters that I just named besides Kevin Holland, he knocked out. Also very telling for Kevin Holland. Didn't get knocked out by Santos either. Come on, what are we talking about? Now, for Johnny Walker, it's a little less, AJ, and this is what's surprising is he's very hyped up. But you look at his notable wins. You have a knockout against Misha Serkinov, shout out. All right, we were already talking about the big man. Knocked out Khalil Roundtree, that's another big one. But Khalil Roundtree has been very up and down in his career, and then knocked out Ryan Spann with those elbow shots, right? So when we're talking about like who have you fought and the type of people who you've had these big wins over, they're not nearly the same caliber as THIAGO Santos, which is once again why all losing streaks are not created equal, all win streaks are not created equal. And these fighters, man, they're different, man. Santos has 30 career fights. Johnny Walker, he's got 23 career fights. They're kind of close, but Santos has been doing this thing in the UFC for a long time, man. He is 21 fights deep into the UFC, AJ. So experience, I think Santos got it. Erratic nature, unpredictability, Johnny Walker got it. And sometimes that's what wins you fights. So let's talk about the line one more time. Minus 170 for Santos, plus 145 for Johnny Walker. Is this a fight where you say, plus 145, I like the erratic nature enough to take a bet on this fight? What do you think?
Yeah, I am personally. I definitely think this one, man, I want Santos to win this fight. I truly want THIAGO Santos to win this fight. I think he deserves it. I think his style on paper leads to more success than Johnny Walker. When you're that unpredictable thing, well, another unpredictable thing is you get KO'd. That's absolutely. When the punches start flying and you don't have your hands up, man, you could easily get knocked out. It just hasn't happened. It did against Corey Anderson to Johnny Walker, but very few and far between. Johnny Walker's he's very durable. But personally, yeah, I'll like I said, I'll let the cat out of the bag already, man. I'm going Johnny Walker, and I'm going KO round 4. I don't think it's going to be a hard fight. I want Santos to win. I just think the youthfulness and the streak that Johnny Walker's been going on, it's going to be a hard day, hard road to toll against him. Who you got and why, Derek?
Well, you know what, AJ? I do not see this fight going the distance. It'd be very difficult to see this fight actually going 5 full rounds unless Santos or Walker decides we're just going to wrestle and we're not going to actually, kickbox and do that. So I see this being pretty early stoppage, man. I'm going THIAGO Santos, TKO round 2. I think he just catches Walker with something crazy, man. I think Walker leaves himself exposed, tries to do a crazy kick to a spinning back fist, and then just gets caught with a kick and drop TKO finish. I think this has to be the return of Marreta, not THIAGO Santos, of Marreta. And the reason why I say that is because the man is 37 years old, man. And if you lose 4 in a row at 37, regardless of who you're fighting, this is arguably a big step down from his recent opposition. So if he does not get the job done, or if he gets finished in this fight, man, we might be looking at the end of the days of Marreta. But he's a fixture in the UFC, has been for a long time. I think he will remain, and I think this is going to be a big bounce back win for THIAGO Santos, another KO in the books. So that's the picks for the main card, folks.